Fabregas is staying at Como. To reject a team or to deny a team, obviously the people at the higher ups at Como didn't want anyone to go, right? But this is a statement of intent from Como that they see themselves almost having the same game plan as an Inter, Juve, Milan.
Let's move on, shall we? Because one of the most exciting things this season has been Como. It feels like every time we talk about Serie A this season going into it, Como keeps coming up with Cesc Fabregas, obviously in all the excitement. Who's going to finish higher in the table, Marco? Lazio or Como?
So I'll say that Como is a powerhouse in the making. It's amazing that we talk to people who are not even Italians, Americans, English. They all are gravitating towards Como because they had a higher net spend than any other team in the Serie A so far. They have an incredible project. I think last year they did an amazing job getting into 10th place. Coming from Serie B, you just need to avoid relegation. This year, they will take steps up in terms of their quality of play and the players that are added. But I still do think that Lazio will slightly finish above Como just because of Maurizio Sarri and the consistency that they have. I'm not saying that they're going to have an amazing season, but I think it's harder for Como to do much better than what they did last year.
It's a great question. I think they'll be right there, but this is the year that Como finally gets out of that bottom half of the table, mid-table, and I think they push for one of the final European places. What Como's doing, every summer now, they spend over 100 million euro. They're buying two 19-year-olds, two guys under 25 that are extremely technical and talented, but then they're still bringing that one or two veteran pieces. They did it last year with, obviously, Varane, didn't work out, Moreno. Now they did it with Alvaro Morata. Fabregas has his pulse, especially on these Spanish players, so it's no surprise that Jesus Rodriguez...
Is Morata the guy, though? He's been a bit of a journeyman, hasn't he, for the last 5 seasons?
It's less about the strikers. Morata and Duvikas, I don't think, are going to give you too many goals. But the guys behind them, to bring in Kuhn from Celtic, who had goals and assists, Jesus Rodriguez, an explosive winger with excellent dribbling, only 19 from Betis, Martin Baturina. I watched this guy in the Champions League with Dinamo Zagreb. This kid's got a real talent. And then Jadon Adai from Alkmaar, another guy that can split the lines, that can get by multiple defenders. It just might be, under Fabregas' tutelage, the most entertaining team to watch in Serie A.
Fabregas is the big one, right? He's a really good manager. They tried all summer to keep him. They did, and I think that's important. Paz, the biggest name for them.
Are you surprised by the way that they kept Fabregas and that he wasn't tempted by some of the elites in Serie A?
No, because I think, like Marco says, a really interesting project. We don't get to see many projects like this in Serie A. The location itself is fantastic, but saying that, it's also a testament to how good the league is because they've spent 120 million. They've added all these pieces. They have Fabregas, the awesome location, these super rich owners. But we don't have them moving that far up the table. We don't have them. I think Matteo says they're going to push higher, but I don't have them higher than Bologna. I don't have them higher than Roma, Lazio, Fiorentina. So
you have them higher than Lazio?
No. It's a testament to. I have them finish almost the same spot. So it's a testament that even if you spend 120 million in Serie A, there's a block of very good 8 teams there at the top of the table that I don't think that they can be better than, even with all their additions. So take nothing away from them.
That doesn't mean it's a failure at all.
No.
Because it's 2 years in to Serie A. We've seen how many teams, like Monza. Monza did great their first year, and then they went right back down because it's tough in Serie A. They have a plan for the future. I think that they can become one team that gets to Champions League. But it's going to take...
How long do you think
Within 5 to 7 years... They could be like what Atalanta did, very different project, because we're talking about one of the richest ownerships in all of football, the richest owners in Serie A. So there is potential there, but just give them a little bit of time to build.
So far, keeping Nico Paz, who now apparently Tottenham has put in a very significant offer. They're snooping around. They said they always sell him if it's something extortionate. Keeping Cesc Fabregas, Inter really wanted Fabregas. Kifu was pretty much third choice behind Patrick Vieira and Fabregas. Fabregas is staying at Como. To reject a team or to deny a team, obviously the people at the higher ups at Como didn't want anyone to go, right? But this is a statement of intent from Como that they see themselves almost having the same game plan as an Inter, Juve, Milan, all the biggest teams, where they're keeping their best players trying to. Something that Milan can't even do, by the way.
Extortionate?
This is amazing.
I don't know. Is that a word?
I got Grellas at home, cousins of mine. They don't even know how to speak barely any English.
They're not the target audience. Assume the target audience are people that went to college, yeah?
Extortionate. I barely.
You went to Duke.
Yeah, but he was an athlete at Duke.
He's going to get his knees broken.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple today.
Fired at the Grella family.
One other thing about Como, too, for people if they've maybe never seen Como play, and it's so interesting, they have a different strategy than any other Serie A team. This summer, they're getting dribblers. It's all players who could play with the ball, who could beat their man, who want to isolate 1v1. Spanish-type style, right? And usually in Italy, you see a team like Cremonese, you see any other team, they don't go for this style of football. So I think people at home, if you like that type of football, you'll really enjoy Como because every single player can change a game.
With the richest owners in football, or one of them, the richest owners in Serie A, though, is it enough, Grella, to be making these small jumps up the table? Because we know when a lot of money gets put into football clubs, they want results immediately. They want money's no object. They can bring in whatever player they want. So even though it's steady and it seems to be trending in the right direction, is it moving quick enough?
Yeah, I think so. And you got to be really smart and realistic with it, right? We've seen teams in the past try to just throw money at it and get it right, and it doesn't work that way. And they have a system, they have an identity, they want to do it the right way. They've done it more slow, and I think they know exactly what they are. It's very similar to Atalanta in some ways in that, you know, they knew last season halfway through, even when they were like 3 points off the Scudetto race, they knew, Gasperini knew, the ownership knew, listen, we're not pushing for the Scudetto, we're pushing for the top 4, and that's what it ended up being, and their investments reflect that, right? They don't go for it. And Como are going to slowly try to build and get maybe a European spot. But like I said, I think it's going to be difficult. This is a perfect game because this is going to be a team that they're going to be fighting for those positions, the top 6.
Here is some of the players, obviously, the starting 11 for Cesc Fabregas and some of the ones that you've really circled, Matteo, as ones to watch this season.
Yeah, and a few of those new signings aren't playing today, but the Jesus Rodriguez is one I really want to focus on. 19-year-old from Real Betis. He's going to start in that left wing role. Nico Paz is probably just going to float around Duvikas. The midfield has so much technical ability. It's really amazing what Como have been able to do by buying so many young, talented, technical players that fit into Cesc Fabregas' style, which is very similar to the style that you normally see with either the Spanish national team or some of the teams that Fabregas has played in, like Barcelona, where you think of that tiki-taka, dominate possession, high press when you lose the ball. And Fabregas really has a big say in the kinds of players that he can bring in that match this philosophy.
Lazio, on the other hand, Marco, Sarri to Lazio wasn't first choice either. You could say it's a bit bizarre that he's kind of ended up back there. How do you rate this?
Yeah, the team is completely unchanged because they were not able to sign new players. And we do put a focus on spending money, but there is something to be said about keeping your players. And Tati Castellanos is one that I think when he played for Lazio were a completely different team. Zaccagni was one of the best players last year as well in Serie A. Cancellieri is an interesting one. He's a player that's had loan spells elsewhere. In preseason, they say that he's convinced Maurizio Sarri. He's been competitive. He's understand tactically what he wants to do. Delabashiru is a player that I also love, the way that he can make these darting runs forward and to help that attack. I'm interested to see how Tavares looks this year because last year under Baroni, he had the ability to go far and fly forward and they left a lot of space in behind. Mauricio Sarri wants them to be tactically and defensively more in shape. So where does he go from there? And then even the goalkeeper, Provedel. It's interesting to see who's he going to start, Provedel or Mandas. Today it's Provedel, but even in the preseason we saw the Greek goalkeeper get a shout. So it is the same team. I don't want to take too much away from them. They still have one of the best coaches in Italy.
Sarri as well, in his last full season with Napoli, they finished second in the table.
Lazio.
Didn't they? Lazio, sorry. Yeah, Lazio with Sarri.